All right, my peoples, welcome back. Awkward beginnings. The hottest thing on the street right now is Gucci Man. Did he tell? Did he point the finger? Did he? Is he going to send Pooh Shiesty to back to the feds? You know what I mean? Nobody knows, but 504 Street Stories is doing the story on Gucci Man right now, y'all. So let's get into it, man. Tonight, Gucci Man is supposed to be dropping the Pooh Shiesty diss song. I believe it's called Crash Test or Crash Dummy or something like that. And the whole internet is hot for it right now, man. So they're supposed to be playing it tonight at 9 o'clock, something 9 o'clock Western time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna check that out, man. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else is gonna be playing it, but it's gonna be a hot topic. This is in the midst of Pooh Shiesty going back. You know what I mean? Going back to the feds and being denied bail. So it's a very hot topic right now, man. So right now, Gucci Man got the internet. He got the internet on fire, y'all. So everybody doing reactions and all of this stuff right now. Man, y'all get y'all record on, man, and get ready for this shit because this is about to be hot YouTube shit that's coming up. So, all right, yeah, I found the video. So let's get to it, y'all. This is 504 Street Stories, man. And y'all go over there and subscribe to 504 Street Stories. They always do good content. I always do my reactions from over there. Y'all go check them out, man. They do very good work. They explain everything, you know, explain everything very well. You know what I'm saying? And they got the streets right now. The media. They just they just don't have the promo that they need. So y'all go over there and check out 504 Street Stories. So yeah, we're gonna check this out right quick, y'all. And like I said, everybody come in and hit the like button. Wipe your feet off, man. Be respectable. Share this to somebody, and let's get to it. Let's get to it real quick, man. So let me get. Hold on, give me 1 second so I can get this ready for y'all. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, so yeah, here we go, right here, y'all. We own it right here.
For those of you who don't know, federal indictments drop on Wednesdays and Thursdays. This incident status procedure. And as of right now, the formal indictment in the Pooh Shiesty case is coming within the next 48 hours. 9 defendants, 1 conspiracy charge, and a man at the center of it all who is about to be asked to do something that will define how the streets remember him for the rest of his life. His name is Roderick Delantic Davis. The world knows him as Gucci Mane. And the decision he made on January the 10th of 2006 and the decisions he's going to have to make in the weeks ahead are going to cost him in ways he has not fully accounted for yet.
All right, I've been hearing from a lot of West Coast podcasters. They're saying like, "Oh, is Gucci Man gonna be banned from the streets? Is he gonna be looked at as a snitch? Is this gonna affect his music sales?" I don't know. I'm not in the streets like that, so I can't tell you. But I think it's going to affect people that really care about that type of stuff. Um, but I think now, I think right now, man, this like the street stuff is so watered down. Nobody even cares about snitches or whatever. Over the last couple of years, look how many people have snitched and got out and did pretty well. The whole snitching or the whole blackball or the whole nobody's gonna listen to you because you snitch thing. The whole snitch thing. I don't believe that stuff even works anymore, man. Or did it work? You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't know, man. Y'all leave a comment. Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think that this is going to play a role in the success of his career from here on out? Because me myself, I don't really think so, man. I think Gucci Man has he's probably already lived out a good 85% of his career, and he don't even have to really put out music right now. He's got plenty of artists, and he's already sold as much as he's going to sell. I don't think he's going to come out now and knock one out the park and do 4 or 5 million albums. He just been doing it too long, and he has his fan base. That and he's never been a very big record salesperson. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen him do 2, 3, 4 million albums. So, but the people that listen to Gucci Man, they listen to it for the music. They don't care if this fool is snitched or not or whatever. And this shit is getting watered down. Like I hear a lot of people, a lot of the podcasters from the West Coast saying this may happen or that may happen, but I don't think nothing's going to happen to that nigga. He's going. People's going to talk about it for a week, and it's going to be gone. The internet is so microwavable right now, man. Like, somebody could be on a hot seat on the internet for one day, and a week could go by, and nobody cares no more. They're on to the next person or the next episode or whatever, man. So I think the internet has watered down the streets. You know what I mean? You know, if y'all think otherwise, leave it in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
Since his release from federal prison in 2016, Gucci Man has operated differently than the version of himself that went in. That transformation has been well documented. The physical change.
Hey, what up, Marathon Kev? How you doing, bro? Thanks for coming in, man, and checking me out.
The sobriety, the marriage, the rebranding. What has been less discussed is the shift in how 1017 Records has been run in that same period. People close to the situation have noted that Gucci's man wife, Keisha Kaur, is on a significant role in managing.
Yeah, like my boy Marathon Kev say, man, I think the streets are so watered down, nobody cares anymore. You know what I mean? It's a new story every other week on the internet. You know what I'm saying? You hot one week, you're not. Look at the difference between record sales or record releases. You know what I'm saying? It's like songs ain't that long no more. They're like a minute and 30 minutes, a minute and 30 seconds now. Everything is so microwavable now. So if you got a hot week on the internet, it's going to last maybe a week. And I don't think this is going to affect them at all for them fools being stupid. They should have known better by doing something that darn stupid. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that you can overdo the internet. You know what I mean? And hey, thanks, Marathon Kid, for coming in, bro. I appreciate you.
In his affairs, and that includes his artists. In the music industry, when the person managing an artist's career is also the person sharing the label's owner's bed, the line between business decisions and personal ones blur in ways that create problems. Artists under that kind of tension often feel that their grievances are not reaching the label owner directly, that they are being filtered through someone who has a different set of priorities than the artist does. That frustration builds over time, and in a 360 deal, where the label is already positioned in every corner of an artist's earning potential, the feeling that the person managing your life does not fully understand your situation is a pressure that builds quietly until it explodes. There is a layer of smoke between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane that goes beyond streaming numbers and recruitment balances. Big Scar, a former 1017 record artist who passed, Pooh Shiesty's blood cousin, family, and word that circulated in the streets was that Pooh Shiesty was not satisfied with how Gucci Mane handled the situation surrounding Big Scar's death. That shit right there is not a business grievance. That is personal, and personal grievances do not get resolved in conference rooms, homie. When you are already frustrated about money, already feeling like the label management does not hear you, and you are carrying unresolved grief about how your label owner handled the death of your blood cousin, you are not a business dispute that happened. You are something else entirely. Gucci signed Pooh Shiesty knowing his background, knowing where he came from, knowing the kind of dude he was dealing with. The amount of tension that accumulated on top of that could have not come as a surprise to anyone who was paying attention.
It seemed like to me that Gucci, man, he signs high-risk artists anyway, man. I think all of the artists that he signed have been like high-risk street artists. Look at Scar, his cousin Scar. Look at Waka. Look at who else? I forgot the girl name. He signed a girl too, and probably about a year ago, he dropped his whole label. Man, he let everybody go, but he decided to keep Fujiano and Pooh Shiesty. Those were supposedly like his investments. He let everybody walk. He gave them their walking papers and told them to beat it. You know what I mean? So I think he had plans for. I think he had some good plans for Pooh Shiesty, but I don't think Pooh Shiesty was willing to stay around and wait. I think Yo Gotti put some money on the table. You know what I'm saying? And he was so greedy. You know what I mean? He did the unthinkable and went over there and tried to do some dumb shit to Gucci Mane. But I think Gucci Mane had better plans than he think about. You know what I'm saying? Gucci Mane has some plans for him. You know what I mean? That was going to help him get money since he got out of prison. But he never gave Gucci Mane a chance to even play it out or whatever.
Pooh Shiesty is not a rapper who happens to talk about the streets. He is a street dude who happens to rap. That distinction matters enormously when you are a label deciding who to sign and what your obligations are after you sign them. That boy Shiesty had a documented reputation before 1017 Records. He had a criminal history before 1017 Records. He caught a federal firearms case out of Miami while he was signed to 1017 Records.
The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital and a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Hey, what up, Leaf? Thanks for coming in and fucking with your boy, man. I appreciate you, man. What you think? What you think about this whole Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane situation, man? I think this is gonna be real crazy, and it's gonna burn the internet up for a week, like I was just saying. It's so messed up that the internet got the game watered down right now. A lot of things that's happened right now. Africa Bambaataa dying yesterday. Like, it's so much stuff going on with this Gucci Mane situation that people are overlooking other things in hip hop that's happened. You know what I'm saying? And after about a week, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care if Gucci Mane's a snitch or if Pooh Shiesty's going to get time. You know what I mean?
Got that name because I'm fine.
And it involves a recording artist, Pooh Shiesty. Except unlike this clip, what happened, no music video. The footage shows a McLaren sports car, Mercedes Maybach, and another Mercedes pull into this East Bay Harbor Drive condo parking lot. The fancy getaway cars speed off, and one of 2 victims then hobbles to the car.
Skyforce 836.
The victims ended up at Aventura Hospital with injuries. But back to the scene for a moment. Police say the famous rapper was in that McLaren.
If I shoot my gun 300 shots.
Prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the shots flew. and it happened right across the street from the police department and town hall here in Bay Harbor Islands, and days before an arrest.
The town of Bay Harbor Islands says you're wanted for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
He's also charged with armed robbery. Bay Harbor Police names one other for aggravated battery in their affidavit, saying the two left the state in a private jet. Police also using these Instagram photos, showing Shiesty with an assault-style rifle and cash as part of their case.
Who, they got the right guy?
Sheldon Fox, 7 News.
And so just a few minutes ago, we actually learned.
Bruh, these niggas, they can't be that stupid, bruh. There's no way that these fools don't know about surveillance, and and not to mention he had a ankle monitor on. There's no way that he went for something that stupid and tried to get away with it. Not to mention they showed off some of the stolen goods on the internet. I don't know, bro. This, for a minute when I first seen this, I thought this shit was a play, bro. You know what I'm saying? This shit don't make any sense to me. I would feel like, for a minute, I was feeling like this was like some April Fool's bullshit, man. I'm waiting for somebody to jump out and say April Fool's or some shit. Like, you can't be that stupid. I know guys from Memphis are hungry, and they've been waiting their time get in the game or whatever, but man, you just can't be that stupid with the way the law has changed, the way surveillance, everybody and their mama got cameras. Not to mention, one of Gucci Mane's security guards is a police officer, and Pooh Shiesty knew that, man. Like, you can't be this stupid, that you can be that damn stupid.
From the courts, Pooh Shiesty's court date has been reset to February 9th.
The pattern of who this dude was and how he moved was not hidden. Everybody knew it. When you sign a person of that kind of profile to a record contract, a 360 deal that puts you in every corner of their pockets, but not just signing a rapper, you are entering into a...
You ain't ever lied, Kev. You can damn sure learn a lot from dummies, man. They say God look out for babies and dummies. I can't tell you which one that fool is. Is he a dummy or a baby? Maybe a little bit of both, y'all.
Business relationship with a dude who has a documented history of resolving conflict outside of courtrooms and meetings. That does not make what happened on January the 10th acceptable, though. It makes it predictable, and predictable problems that are not managed are on the label owner as much as they are on the artist. You cannot collect off a man and then act surprised when that man's entire life depends on his rap career. Here's something that has not been discussed enough in the coverage of this case. Gucci is a street dude who knows what it means to move through the world carefully. Flew to Dallas for a business meeting with a disgruntled artist who had been publicly complaining about his bread. An artist who felt he was not being paid what he was owed. An artist with a documented history of criminal behavior. And he showed up to that meeting wearing his wedding ring, a watch, earrings, and carrying buku cash, flexing on the same dude who was complaining about his bread. One of the other victims in that studio arrived carrying a Louis Vuitton bag filled with multiple high-dollar watches at a business meeting with a man who had been vocal about feeling like he was not seeing the money he believed he was owed, who is also known for going with his moves. When you are sitting across from someone who is angry about money, the last thing you want to be doing is flaunting jewelry and cash. The streets teach you to read environments. They teach you to move according to the temperature.
Right. Pooh Shiesty didn't read the room, man. But I don't know, man. I think in these times, people are so they're tired of being burned, man. Pooh Shiesty, he went for it, man. You know what I mean? That's all I can say. He just went for the gusto, but he had to have known that wasn't going to work out. What I can't understand. I can't find anything smart out of that situation, bro. Like, I just don't get it. Even say it did go down, and they didn't get caught. That contract would have never been honored because it was signed under distress or whatever. You know what I mean? So I heard people from Memphis was crazy, man, but this is just on a whole nother level, bro. This is just stupid. This stupidity, that is to a certain extent.
In the room, whatever Gucci security team was doing that afternoon, and the affidavit makes it clear that his head of security was in the lobby, and his second security officer was still in the vehicle outside when 9 armed men allegedly walked in preparation for that meeting did not match the risk of the dude they were meeting with. That is a big time miscalculation, and miscalculations in situations like that have consequences. Gucci built his entire brand on a specific identity, being from the streets, the trap, the unapologetic gangster who survived everything Atlanta threw at him and came out the other side with his reputation intact. Gucci has said publicly more than once he would rather die than cooperate with law enforcement. That was not just a casual statement in the culture he was from. That was his position. That was the declaration. He was standing on that. And right now, that stance is being tested.
I'm a true G. I never snitch on niggas. For real. This East Carolina Zone 6. Well, niggas I fuck with my crew, we don't do that. We don't snitch on niggas. We stand down for ourselves. Like, if I got...
What people fail to realize, that's the old Gucci Man right there. Statement right there was the Gucci Man before he got on medication. Before his now wife got involved and started pitting, his Zanny bar, crushing up his Zanny bars inside his applesauce. So that's a whole different Gucci. We're looking at a totally different Gucci Man. When you see him on interviews, you can definitely tell that he's not the same. He's not the same person. He kind of looks zoned out, and he's definitely a totally different CEO now, man. His wife is basically running the show over there now, and you can't hold this statement that he made right here on Vlad. You can't hold him accountable for the statement that he made, because this is a totally different Gucci Man now. You know what I mean?
Gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't want to snitch on a nigga to save my nobody's life, not even my own. I'd die. So I snitch on nigga. That's on my mama.
The internet has spent the last days debating whether Gucci has transitioned from a street dude into a civilian. The argument for civilian status is the transformation, the business focus, the lifestyle change. But to keep it a buck, the argument against it is simpler. During his versus battle with Young Jeezy, Gucci chose to disrespect Jeezy's deceased partner on the public platform in front of millions of people. That is not the move of a man who has fully left that behind. That was the move of a man who still understands and still uses the language of the streets when it serves him.
Put that nigga ass in the dirt. I tell you what. Smoking on Pookie Load tonight. I tell you what. This how we gonna do this. Send some more, I'm gonna send them the same way. In a box back to you. Are you doing 3 kill?
Which is what makes what comes next so significant. Because the same man who was willing to invoke the dead in a rap battle is now being asked by the federal government to take a witness stand and testify against 9 people, including a man he signed, a man he had.
All right, everybody in the chat right now, put a 1 in the chat if y'all think Gucci Man is going to get on the stand and actually take the stand and go all the way against Pooh Shiesty. Me, myself, I think something's going to pop up to where he's not going to want to take the stand. Because like I said, at this moment, they really don't even need him. They don't need him because remember, like I said, his security guard is ex-police officer. So I think all they need is his statement. You know what I'm saying? And Gucci Man may not even show up to court. They don't even need him really, because they got the statement of his security guard, like I said, which is an off-duty police officer. So yeah, put a 1 in the chat if you think he's going to take the stand. Put a 2 in the chat if you think otherwise.
a contractual obligation with, and a man whose father had his own documented history of cooperating with federal prosecutors. Gangster persona and a federal subpoena about to be in the same room, and only one of them has the force of the government behind it. Feds do not need Gucci to build this case. They have the ankle monitor data, the fingerprints, the cell phone records, Instagram posts, the surveillance footage, and the Greyhound tickets. The government wants from Gucci is what they always want from the primary victim in the high-profile case.
See, yeah, like he said, they got everything they need to build that case already, man. They got the cell phone data, they got his ankle monitor, they got the statement from his security guard, which is a police officer, which they're gonna take very serious. You know what I mean? So they really don't even need Gucci Man like that to build this case. You know what I'm saying?
Face that the jury recognizes sitting in that witness box, telling them in his own words what happened in that studio. Gucci is the big fish, and the government is going to press him to take the stand. And here is where it gets complicated for a man whose entire identity is built on the G code with loyalty and silence.
Well,
taking that stand to not make Gucci a witness in the legal sense. He's a victim. It's not flipping on the crew he did a crime with. It's testifying about something that was done to him. The legal distinction is clear. In the culture that Gucci Man has spent his entire career operating in, that distinction does not always translate cleanly. The optics of Roger Davis sitting in the federal witness box pointing fingers, regardless of the context, will be used by certain people to say certain things. There are people in the streets and on the internet actively encouraging Gucci to take the stand. He was allegedly robbed at gunpoint. He was robbed of all his jewelry. He was held in the recording room while a firearm was pointed at him and forced to sign a document under duress. Old code covers that. No loyalty extends to people who put a gun to your face and take your property. If Gucci played the civilian role, the argument for testifying is straightforward and it's legitimate. But then there's the other side of that conversation, the side that does not care about the legal distinction between the victim testifying and the cooperator flipping, the side that looks at Gucci's 30-year public persona, every interview, every lyric, every declaration about where he stands on cooperation with law enforcement, and sees a contradiction that no amount of context is going to make disappoint.
Yeah, remember that's a totally different Gucci now. You know what I mean? So nobody's gonna take that serious anymore because that's a totally different Gucci now. You know what I mean? So.
Here, taking the stand is going to cost that boy, regardless of how he tries to justify it. That is the reality of the position he's in. To keep it all the way real, it is a position that did not have to exist. 9 people walked out of that east entrance at 4:48 p.m. on January the 10th. 9 people are now defendants in a federal conspiracy case. And the federal government, which convicts at a rate of approximately 90%, is actively building on top of the complaint they used to make the arrest. The question of whether someone in that group cooperates is not really a question. It is about when. 9 different defendants mean 9 different attorneys doing 9 different calculations about the strength of the evidence against their specific client. Some of those clients are more exposed than others, though. Some of them have prior records that enhance their sentencing. Some of them are younger. Cartier Johnson was born in 2006, which means he was 19 years old when this happened. Age, exposure, and the availability of information the government does not yet have in its files are all factors that attorneys are weighing in conversations happening right now behind closed doors. And there is one more factor that every person in that group is sitting with. Antrell Williams Sr., Pooh Shiesty's father, one of the 9 defendants, has a documented history of cooperating with the federal government dating back to 2009. His plea.
That's another thing. They say that Pooh Shiesty's father was a beast over there in Memphis. But there's also paperwork to say that he's a documented snitch, you know what I mean? So I don't know what role that's going to play in this whole situation. Will his word in the courtroom be even taken serious due to him being a ex-convict anyway? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know, man. This is just gonna be a weird case, and it's gonna burn the internet up for this whole week. I can't wait to see how this is all going to turn out. And like I said, I'm probably in about 10 minutes, that Gucci Man song is going to be coming out. And this song to Pooh Shiesty, you know what I mean? It should be coming out like in the next 10 minutes, man. So whenever y'all get off of here, y'all might want to go check that out. You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy.
Agreement from that year included ongoing cooperation language and eligibility for 5K1 substantial assistance. His co-defendants know that history, and them simply knowing that history changes the calculation for every single person in that group by how long they can afford to wait before they make their own move. First person through the door gets the best deal. That is not a theory, homie. That is how the federal cooperation system works. And in a group of 9 people, well, one of them has already demonstrated that they know exactly how the door opens, the clock is now running slowly. And in the group of 9 people, well, one of them has already.
They say that's how the feds work, man. First one to tell. It's the first one that get the best deal. You know what I mean? So I guess we'll see whoever gave that first statement or whatever, or whoever wrote their first statement or whatever, man. Maybe it'll help them out more. Who knows? But the feds is totally different. Like my boy say, man, the feds play fed games, and you gotta be careful. You gotta watch what you say. You gotta watch the statements that you write down, and you just gotta keep your mouth closed and let your lawyer do all the talking. Let them do all the work and let them use their resources.
Demonstrated that they know exactly how that door opens. Gucci survived the Atlanta streets. He survived multiple incarcerations. He survived the federal system once. Came out the other side of it all and built something real, a label, a brand. The second chapter that most people in his place to write. The indictment is coming within the next 48 hours. The stand is coming after that, and the streets are watching both.
Yeah. All right, y'all. That was the end of that video. I appreciate everybody for coming in. Hit that like, share the video. I'm probably going to do another live a little bit later after that the Gucci Man song comes out. I'm going to prepare myself for that. I don't think I can stream it because I know he's copywriting and publishing that shit. So it's probably going to do numbers. But after they finish playing the song, I'm going to go live, man, and we're going to talk about it in the chat, y'all. So, like I said, man, thanks everybody for coming. Hit that like, and I will be back a little bit. Everybody take it easy, man. Enjoy the Thursday night. All right.